Final.
We have to stay focused for the full 90.
The opportunity still on, and it's put in by Kevin De Bruyne. And City inside 90 minutes hit the front.
We're fighting for everything that we can, and yeah, we're going to fight to the end.
Cross towards Gundogan, and City do have a second goal, and Phil Foden. City go back in front. City 2, Dortmund 1.
Wow. So here we are, and there he is. Mr. Pep Guardiola is in Germany, along with Kevin De Bruyne and the boys, as they get ready for their second leg fixture against Borussia Dortmund. Of course, we are bringing that 2-1 aggregate score with us. Dortmund getting that all-important away goal. But a chance to go through to the semi-finals and take on Pochettino's PSG as they beat Bayern Munich 3-3 on aggregate awaits for us in the semi-final. But of course, Dortmund as well will have something to say about that, as we both are hoping to make our way to Istanbul. A very good evening to you all, my friends. Thank you so much for joining us for this Champions League night. So excited. Also, I don't know about you. Very, very nervous. But here to help calm my nerves are two absolute legends in the form of Richard Dunne and Kevin Horlock. Gentlemen, a very good evening. Richard, we actually watched the quarter-final together last year. Of course, we all remember what happened with Lyon. How are you feeling about us going into this game against Dortmund?
Confident, I think. I think over the two legs, it's a lot easier for City to dominate a game rather than with that one-off game last year. They've obviously got the lead, so coming into this game tonight with the confidence that they can beat Dortmund, they can create chances, and hopefully tonight they can take those chances and get an away goal. I think would be really important to start the game and sort of ease the nerves for everybody.
Well, before we start just getting into a little bit of an intro, let's bring you the first team news that you'll get anywhere on the World Wide Web. It's right here on We're Not Really Here. This is our Manchester City 11 for this quarter-final fixture against Borussia Dortmund. It looks like this. Of course, Ederson in net. A back four consisting of Kyle Walker, John Stones, Ruben Diaz and Zinchenko at left back. It's looking like a middle three of Rodri Holding, Gundogan and De Bruyne, and a forward three of Bernardo Silva, Riyad Mahrez and Phil Foden. And as we look to the bench, Zach Stefan, a surprise appearance for our young keeper James Trafford, Ake and Laporte on there, with Mendy, Cancelo, Garcia, Fernandinho, Torres, Gabriel Jesus and Raheem Sterling. So super strong, and we'll get the thoughts on that team from our special guest in just a second. But Kev, great to have you here as well. I mean, we should take a moment, looking as smart and dapper as ever.
Yep, I'm going large, mate, tonight. Living the dream. Champions League, watching Manchester City go through to the semis, fresh trim, blue suit for Mark Darcy, Man City colours, matching socks, shoes, the lot, mate.
Tell you what, I mean, I'm feeling a little bit underdressed, Richard. I don't know about you.
I just hope I don't look like the drunk uncle at the wedding later. I'm hoping the lads are comfortable tonight and I can stay looking pristine. But I've got to say, look, I've got nothing against the Manchester City Puma gear. It's top quality. But tonight I'm going
smart.
Dapper. And well, I have got something for you as well, Cal.
For me?
Yeah. To be fair, I was going to.
Is it a full suit?
No, unfortunately not, mate. That's not your style. Looking this dapper's not for everybody, right?
It's true, and not everyone can pull it off.
And I know you're into your hats, mate. You've not got one on tonight, so I've got a Manchester City hat.
No!
Navy blue or a black one, Citizens, mate.
Kevin, okay,
mate.
I mean, what we think. I mean, either what one are you thinking? You're the man of style. What do we think? What colour?
I'm thinking black. If you're going to put it on tonight,
yeah, we're going to. Of course,
and I didn't want to leave Dunny out because I had a visit to the club shop earlier. I got Dunny a bottle opener for beers. And
there we go.
There you go, Dunny.
Perfect. Right on the fridge.
Kevin, that is dripping. How's that looking there? So I can have a little close up there on my camera. There we go. Fresh.
Mate, you're looking smart already.
Tell you what, there we go.
Looks good.
And perfect for the pubs opening here in the UK as well now.
Absolutely,
Richard.
and even more so if they win tonight.
Hey.
Yeah, we'll use it later.
Oh, good. That's made my day. Thank you, mate. But we were thinking actually maybe if we do progress to the semi-finals, I think maybe we try and look to get a little Puma suit sorted out for us all. I think it's got to be done for the occasion, hasn't it?
That'd be good. That would be good. Yeah, just with the Man City badge sort of
Yeah,
in it as well.
We'll you style it, you design, and we'll get it to Puma, and then Bob's your uncle.
Or we could get the fans to design it, maybe.
I tell you, producing the show as well now, Kevin. Assisting all over the shop.
Look, I feel like I'm in the hierarchy now for some reason.
Getting into the honest, that's very kind of you, Kevin. I'm absolutely buzzing with that. Let's get into the team then. I mean, for me, I mean, not really that many surprises. Are you surprised with that team, or is that what you thought?
No, yeah, the only one, not surprised as such. I thought maybe Cancelo would have started at left back, but what do I know? In Pep we trust. I think the others probably picked themselves, especially looking at the game at the weekend. Lads that were left out and rested, I think, for this fixture. So no real surprises going. What it looks like back to the false nine.
Because we had, of course, in that leg that we played in last week, we did have Jesus and we went for the striker. So are we thinking maybe that didn't quite work and that's why we're going to fall back on what we've seen so many times this season, Richard?
I think it's good to have a choice to be able to alternate between the different systems that City do play. With or without a nine, that they cause so much trouble from all sorts of positions, and I think tonight is just a different challenge for them. If it gets into a situation where Dortmund are overloading and attacking a lot, we've got players who can drop back in and defend maybe better than a normal number 9 would. But it's every time you watch City play and they haven't got a centre forward, it's so exciting because you don't know where the next attack is coming from. Mm-hmm. Anyone can mix it up, and you say about the midfield of De Bruyne, Gundogan or Rodri, they could be anywhere.
Yeah.
You know? So it'll keep Dortmund on their toes, and it will create opportunities and move players around. And yeah, like Kev says, you have to trust the manager. He gets it right all the time.
Just off that, when we talk about the false nine, obviously you played centre half, Richard. So if you were lining up in Dortmund's position against this team where there is no striker, what is your approach, do you think, is trying to command the defence when you've not got that number 9 to mark or keep an eye on? Yeah,
it's so difficult. When teams used to play with 2 up front, and then it started to become a 9 and a 10, where the 10 would drop off, and you would try and squeeze your defensive line up as high as the 10, so the 9 has no space and all that sort of stuff. But the false 9 can go anywhere. He can go left wing, and they might have 2 left wingers. He can come back and be a number 8. He can go wide. So it's so difficult. And for the centre halves, the concentration levels have to be sky high, because if you concentrate on your guy who you think's the false 9, all of a sudden he's coming in from the left wing, and you've got your eye on the other guy on the other side. So it's very difficult to play against.
It just puts that grey area there for me as a defender, going back to the day when there was 2 strikers. You knew your job. Yeah. And it would be tough, but you've got a man each. They might cross over, but it was pretty much, you know what you're doing. Tonight they probably look at it, go, they're not playing a centre forward. Happy days, I've got no one to mark. They couldn't be so far from being right, because the movement, who's going to break up there? Sometimes we see it's Phil, sometimes Mahrez. It's just so difficult, and it also gives the opportunity for Manchester City to dominate the football, I think. And there's going to be so many forward runners.
We've seen as well, and I've seen it on the graphic, but Kevin De Bruyne captaining the side tonight. And Kevin, I know you spoke about it so much in the past, but just how important is he going to be to see us through this second leg fixture?
Yeah, he's massive. He's irreplaceable in my eyes. Obviously, we've got so many good players, but Kevin, I think, is one player that you can't replace. He brings something so different with so much quality, so he's going to be vital tonight for Manchester City.
Very welcome news for all Manchester City fans as well. Of course, that contract renewal that got announced around a week ago, fantastic news, and Kevin is going to be here hopefully for those full 10 years, which will be absolutely incredible. Diaz back in the starting 11, Richard. Did you feel that we missed him in that Leeds game at the weekend?
I think you always miss him. I think it's just that leadership. The second goal for me is a goal where an organiser, a commanding centre half, you run up the field, you want to score goals. The one thing you don't want to do in the 90 minutes is lose the match. And I think an organiser who, like Diaz is, someone who can command the back line, gets people organised, gets them into the shape and say, right, we're trying to win, but whatever happens, we don't lose it. And certainly for the big Champions League games, you need someone like that who can control that back line. And what he's done this season has been outstanding. We talk about almost the glory and the beautiful football that Kevin De Bruyne gives us, but I think what he's given the team as a defender has been outstanding. I
guess that's actually the solid foundations that we've maybe lacked that had then allowed them to go forward so free, and then the midfielders, I guess, to go on and do their thing without worrying about maybe I need to be stood back here in case they break.
Yeah, it's been the real difference, isn't it? Not conceding as many goals, and Dunne is it the nail on the head. I was at the game on Saturday, and we did dominate. We obviously were pushing for the winner, but Dunne is spot on, by the way. I worried about it because the centre-backs were pushing so far forward. No one was organising it, and I was looking, thinking, Leeds could break out here, because give Leeds credit that they break with numbers and they break with pace, so it was always a worry. And obviously they got the winner late on, which really hurt. But he's massive for us. He's just brought that leadership, and by the looks of it, everybody loves him. He's obviously a good character. He's been an unbelievable signing.
Off that, and we maybe going to touch upon this a little bit later in the show, but while we're talking about kind of how quickly Leeds break, of course we saw PSG are going to be awaiting for us or Dortmund in the semi-final, and they seem to be what Leeds are doing, but on a whole different level. Is that a slight concern for the semi-final, given that if we have an Achilles heel, it's kind of the way that PSG play?
Yeah, I would imagine so, but you look at how Bayern Munich play, and they defend on the halfway line. It's almost suicide when you're playing against Mbappe and Neymar. So while they can cause you trouble if you give them that space, I don't think City or Diaz or Stones or Laporte will be looking to defend on the halfway line against those players. You have to take each game sort of on its merit, and PSG are a dangerous team if you allow them space to play in behind you. But PSG have their own weaknesses as well, you know, so it's one of those games, and like you get now in the Champions League, they're all crackers, they're games to look forward to, and they're exciting, so get through this one first and then start to look forward to that one.
Indeed, let's get through this one first, indeed. And Kevin, what is, for you, if there was going to be one thing that you'd like to see City go and do to try and make sure that becomes a reality, what would it be this evening, do you think?
I would like an early goal. Obviously, it's stating the obvious. What I don't want to do is Dortmund get it. Yeah. And then it becomes really edgy. Look, as Blues, it's in our blood, it's in our DNA to be nervy tonight. For obvious reasons, we talk about typical City often. But for me, I think an early goal would obviously be really nice and settle it down. But I'm confident tonight. I think City go through. I think there will be moments where we're sitting on the edge of our seats, but I'm confident in this squad and this team and this manager.
I mean, they look relaxed, and it seems the conversations around the club and from the players and from the manager is that they all know what is required. And I think Sterling, who of course is on the bench this week, he was talking about if you come into our dressing room before the first leg and even this one, he says it's so still and so quiet. Is that surprising to hear, do you think, or does that show there's a level of maturity now, I think, from the squad and a belief in what they're doing?
There is a belief, but there's also an expectation, I think, amongst themselves that they probably know last year wasn't good enough, what happened in that Lyon game, and they have an opportunity to put it right, and all those certain things that come into your mind going, right, this is a new year, a new chance, a new opportunity. There's still nerves. We talked about it before, Kev, about some passes going astray in the first leg and a little bit of anxiety were in the team when they're playing. So I think, like Kev says, if you get that early goal, that goes away straight away. And playing at Dortmund tonight is different than playing at Dortmund with a full house. That's similar to what Anfield can do to you, where they can draw the ball into the goal. But in an empty stadium, if you can take the desire out of Dortmund players early on with a goal, then you can relax and you can start.
It's one of them,
again.
isn't it? Yeah. You want the lads to just play the game, not the occasion. We all know it's been built up, and the media are trying to put it on a knife edge, which yes, it is. The away goal for Dortmund obviously helps, but if this team just play individually and collectively how they can and just be in the moment and don't worry about the consequences so much, I just think that they win the game.
Yeah.
It's difficult, isn't it, to say switch off. Everybody knows how much it means to Blues all around the world and the club in general, but just go and play the game, and I'm sure they go through.
Well, that's what's quite interesting, and it's something I wanted to ask you both, because all season the rhetoric around the club and from our manager has been one game at a time. We go on, we play our game, whether it's the League Cup, FA Cup, Champions League, Premier League, it doesn't make a difference. But something does seem to happen, whether consciously or subconsciously, that when these nights arrive, there is a slight shift, a mood, and even as players, as the consummate professional, have been through so many big fixtures, can it still fester away without you kind of even knowing, in a way?
It does do, yeah. It gets to you, and you walk out and you think, I'm excited because it's a big match and I want to play in this, but you're also nervous.
Yeah.
And you have that little bit of fear, and certainly if it's happened to you before where you've lost it, it's in the back of your mind somewhere. And I think what's good about tonight, and what has happened probably previously in these games, City have overthought things. they've tried to complicate the game for themselves, whereas this is a side that we've seen on numerous occasions this season. It's a formation we're expecting that we've seen before. So they're not going into it with new ideas, new thoughts. They're playing the game, and fingers crossed they continue to play a little bit ahead.
I think it was evident in the first leg that there was errors being made that we wouldn't see in the Premier League. So was that them overthinking about it and being caught up in that? There was passes going astray and chances missed, but let's not kid ourselves. On another day, Manchester City win that first leg 4-5.
Yeah.
We create chances. Phil was brilliant on the night, by the way, Phil Foden, and missed a couple of chances that he would have scored normally. So let's not kid ourselves. We're favourites to win this game still.
Making me feel slightly better. Thank you, Kev. And we can have a little look at the some of the highlights from that first set. I mean, we got that goal, and you think, we are here, we're flying out, but then we just kind of seemed to lose a slight bit of momentum, Richard. And do you think that was them playing the occasion rather than the game a little bit?
Yeah, I think so. I think, obviously, when you get a goal ahead, you sort of automatically you take your foot off the gas a little bit and you start to be a little bit more comfortable. And it's different when you're playing Champions League and you're playing against sides like Borussia Dortmund, who are a really, really good side, and certainly going forward. And they proved that they create chances and they cause you trouble. I think their weakness, Dortmund, is defensively. So if they come at City tonight, they're going to leave themselves open, and hopefully they can take advantage of it.
Did you think, Kev, and I might be wrong on this, but when I was chatting with a few friends and my dad, of course, we were speaking about where we've been, beautiful goal, and so key, as you say, rounded off a great second half display, but we played Leicester the week, that was the game before that game. Now, Leicester, of course, are third in the Premier League, have secured top four, up there as one of the best in the league, but we even in that game felt like we were in a different league to Leicester. So did that kind of, do you think, affect that because we hadn't come up against such high quality opposition that we weren't used to having to maybe find that extra gear, or not really?
I think this squad of players have got that extra gear when they need it. I don't think that comes into it at all, really. I think they go out tonight and they know what's at stake. They want to get off to a good start. If they don't, then so be it. That's football. Things happen. But I think they've got the mental strength and ability to see this through.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's take a look at the Dortmund team that we're going to be facing. Of course, there are some big names in here as well, and we all know the quality of this Dortmund side. It looks like this. Mats Hummels makes it back into centre-half. Also, you've got the middle three there as well, I think very similar to that first leg in Emre Can, Dahoud, and Mori, and of course Bellingham in there as well with Marco Reus, Haaland and North as well on the front three. Couple of substitutions as well there. They might be able to bring on. Reina comes to mind as well. You've got Piszczek in there, Meunier. Can't forget Hazard as well. So quality to bring on. Also Brandt, number 19 there on the bench. When you look at that Dortmund team, Richard, where does your head go on what are the key threats and things we have to be worried about as Manchester City?
I think you look at the forward players, and certainly in that you would add Bellingham, the player who was outstanding in the first leg. They have goals in them, they have opportunities in them, they have creativity in them. I think when you go further back the field, there's maybe the legs aren't as quick as they used to be, and there's opportunities that way. But what Dortmund have done over the last few years is score goals, and that's what the threat is. They're not going to sit back tonight and hope to nick a goal at some stage. They're going to go and try and win the game. And we've all spoke about Haaland, and everyone knows how good he is. He's not scored for 4 or 5 games, so almost a striker like that, unfortunately, is due on eventually. So he's one to keep an eye on as well. But it makes it exciting because they can't sit back. They're going to come for it, and they've got the players to threaten City, but obviously City do as well.
Yeah, I agree. Their strength is going forward. There's no doubt about it with the front line they got, and obviously we've mentioned Bellingham, which is, in my mind, plays into Manchester City's hand a little bit. Yes, we've got to nullify that threat, but they could then leave themselves open, and we know what Manchester City can do going forward. So, how
impressed were you with Bellingham, Kevin? I mean, because we'd all heard, I think, stories, but I think that felt like a really coming of age performance from him.
Yeah, he was unbelievable. Obviously, he burst on the scene at Birmingham as a young lad. Nothing was really made of him in massive noises, but then he gets the move to Dortmund. I love the way they go about it. They sign young players for a fair bit of money, but then they develop them, and look, he's going to be worth an absolute fortune. Still really young, but he's just the maturity at that age, the ability. He's obviously can run box to box. He's one hell of a player.
He also scored for Dortmund at the weekend in the Bundesliga. And I guess that'll be ringing true because we all know that he was very unlucky actually to not get a goal in that first leg, to be fair to him. But that'll hopefully keep our middle three on their toes, I think, a little bit, Richard.
Yeah, definitely. And like Kev says, the progress that he's made is incredible.
Yeah.
He had the opportunity to go to some clubs in England and he probably still wouldn't be a first-team player by this stage. But in Germany, they just seem to throw them in, give them the opportunity and let them play. And he's absolutely flourished. And if you're looking, everyone's got their eye on Haaland and he's going to be the main man to watch tonight. Bellingham, certainly after scoring at the weekend, will have a feel for it and he'll be desperate to try and impress.
I mean, the other thing as well, what we've got with the Dortmund team is like they have gone for young players, as you say, but that little bit of experience and know-how in the form of your Mats Hummels and Royce will probably go a long way for helping them with game management, say, when it comes to this second fixture.
It's what young players need. They play without fear a little bit, young players, but they both... Haaland and Bellingham both got unbelievable ability. So to have them older players around them just to keep them on track and help them develop is invaluable.
And speaking of leaders on the pitch, and when we talk about if you play the occasion a little bit, and there might be some City players, I think Pep even spoke about in his pre-match interview saying, if they are feeling nervous, just do your job and do the simple things. Is that there then when the leaders on the pitch and those with more experience need to kind of give off the energy to say, let's calm it all down and get back onto the way that we play?
Yeah, it's really easy to say do the simple thing, but when your head's gone, you struggle to do that. But these players have so much quality and they've got so much quality around them that if you make a mistake, if you do something wrong, the next time there is people around you to help you. And as soon as you can play the game that you want to play, just whether it be simple 5-yard passes all the time, that you grow into it, you get your confidence, you become a better player, you become more progressive with the ball, and then you can start to do things, but you need to settle into it first before you start to try and run it.
And I think that would be led from the top, from Pep. Obviously, we all love how animated he is at times on the touchline, but I think, yes, everyone would be nervous, but I think it'd be really calm in there. And when you see a manager like Pep being calm, it does just rub off on the players. I
think, Pep seems to be like not human, I would say. And we're speaking a lot about the pressure on the players, but I don't think we should not forget that he's not won the Champions League in 10 years. And the last time was at Barcelona. So even if he has that calm front, do you think that is in the back of his head or not? He says it isn't, but...
I think he'll be aware and he will be nervous. If he isn't, then maybe he isn't human. But look, he's been there, done it. He knows what to do. I think it'd be very calm and measured, and I think tonight certainly could be his night, but I think it could be his year as well.
Well, we've actually got one of our Manchester City's pundits over in Germany. Unfortunately, myself, Richard and Kevin weren't lucky enough to get on the plane, but hopefully very soon. But what we can do is we can now bring you some live footage of our presenter over in Germany. He is there at the stadium. He's been having a little look around. He's been having a little scout. So we thought, do you know what, Adam, would you mind just letting us know what is the general mood? He was also at the hotel last night, and we all know about those antics that went down. So I think Adam can bring us a little update now. How is it over in Germany, my friend?
Yes, guys, so I'm here at what is a ridiculously big ground. It's one of those where you realise just how big it is when you actually get in here. But obviously, big ground and a huge game tonight as well, with the semi-finals looming. We all know how good Haaland is, and we knew how good Dortmund were based off the first leg as well, so the players are going to have to be on their toes. But judging off the hotel vibe last night, it was really good, the mood around the camp. Despite the fireworks at 2:30 a.m, I think the Dortmund fans were just happy that Ilkay Gundogan's finally coming home for a good few days. But I got a good night's sleep. The players did too, hopefully, and hopefully they'll be fired up for today's game, because it's obviously a huge, huge game. So back to you guys in the studio.
Adam, thank you very much. Nice to know you got a good night's sleep, because then I'm hoping the players did as well. I mean, all sorts of score. Do you ever have anything like that?
Before we go there, I know it might be the long hair. He looks a little bit light. Is it? Are you related at all? Both good-looking lads.
We're going to say
both really good-looking lads. Yeah, I don't know if it's the long hair or I don't know. He looks a little bit like him, mate.
You're not the first person to say that as well. I'll take it though, because he's a very handsome lad.
He is very handsome lad. As you are, Kev.
Thank you, Kev. Not as suave as you, though.
Not tonight, anyway.
We heard about, if you've not heard, so there was a little story that came out of the Manchester City's hotel last night, where some Dortmund fans, I think at around 2:30 and then I believe at 4:30, set off some industrial fireworks, obviously trying to disrupt some sleep, or maybe just, throw a little bit of tension in the air. Does that affect players? Do you mean, or not really?
I think if it's waking you up, I suppose it affects your sleep maybe, but then I think they can make that up. Unfortunately, I was never subject to that because I wasn't in a brilliant team that was going to cause, but they weren't bothered whether I got a good night's sleep or not. But yeah, look, it goes on. Look, they want to progress and do anything they can, and if setting fireworks off, etc., and fire alarms I've heard in the past, if that helps then, and they want to try that, then so be it. But I think this team needs a little bit more than that to stop them.
Yeah, I think as well they came back for a third attempt at 5:30, but security were well on the case.
I think
at
it'd be
that
worse
point.
if they came today after pre-match or after their lunch and start letting them off, because if he goes off the night before, the match isn't on till 8 o'clock tonight, so the lads can sleep in all day. We had it in Poland. We went to the Euros with Ireland, and we had our own fans in the hotel, in the pub, just singing all night.
I bet that was some gig.
I know. Imagine you going down, Richard, as well, like in your pyjamas, going, lads, I love that you're supporting us. We need some sleep.
He'd have sat down with them. Yeah.
And he touched upon it there. I mean, how big the state. I don't know if either of you have had a chance to ever play in that stadium at all.
Don't, Kel. Don't, Kel. I was nearly said fortunate enough. Unfortunately enough, I got to play there for Northern Ireland against Germany. Yeah, it was a torrid time for me. We lost 4-0 and all the goals come down my side. Left back with no pace against a right winger called Oliver Nouvelle, who was rapid, by the way. Lothar Matthäus, I think he sussed me out early on. Stepped out, give it to feet. Jinked past me 1-0. So I thought, right, I'm going to stick one on him. Just put it over my head, cross 2-0.
Oh.
Yeah, it was just a torrid night, and I feel a little bit nauseous just looking at the stadium, if I'm honest. I'm hoping it's an easier night tonight for me.
Well, that's now it's on City to make sure there's happy memories associated with that stadium.
Let's get even.
But we've got so used to fans not being in the stadium. But, and Richard, you alluded it to at the start, of course, we know about that infamous big yellow wall at Dortmund, and I think they have one of the average highest attendances across club football in Europe. This does feel like maybe this is in City's favour slightly on this occasion, that it is an empty stadium.
Yeah, possibly, and certainly when you go to stadiums like that, like Anfield, like here when it's bouncing, they're difficult places to go, and not having the fans there can only benefit City. Yeah. You know, whatever you think about the empty stadiums, we miss them. We want the full stadium, we want the fans there, but on this occasion tonight, it certainly does a favour to City.
Everything seems to be coming in our favour tonight, which is good. The omens are good so far. Let's have a little dig into the vault. Actually, I've just been told in my ear before that. Let's go hear from our manager now, Pep Guardiola. Here he is speaking ahead of our fixture over in Germany. Second leg tie against Borussia Dortmund.
To get the finals, you have to go for it. So you cannot wait. It doesn't matter the result is in the first leg. So. We are not used to just defend a result. Of course, during these knockout stages, there is not the same game in the same pattern. So there are up and downs in the game. Every player knows the result. Every player the minutes left, and of course you have to control these emotions. But the best way is concentrated in what you have to do, and not in the consequence of the result. Joao could play like the other players are here could play. So I took that decision, no more than that. Reviewing the game, they did it really well. So not just was our fault, they did really, really well, and we have to adjust a little bit what we have to do. And but the idea, the important is the concept we have to try to do is try to score goals. So we know that if we don't score goals, it will be so difficult to go through. I was sleeping like a baby, so I didn't realize it. So, but some people noticed that two times that they were there. Yeah, no problem, no problem.
Breaking news: Pep Guardiola slept like a baby last night.
Up every 3 hours. Is that? Let's hope not.
But I mean, he alluded to there that it sounded like we're going to go for goals, and that was kind of, you wonder, is there something in going? Maybe we should try and maybe not concede and try and grab a goal, but that doesn't ever seem to be in Pep's thinking.
No, look, he looked relaxed for me. He looked very calm. And he was spot on. He said, just play the game. Look, I don't think they're ever going to change. They're always going to be really attractive going forward, playing with numbers, playing with overloads, creating chances. But it's about managing, which he alluded to, managing the moments. As players, you know how long's left, you know what the score is. If it gets late on and it's quite tight, then they might hold the reins and keep maybe another body back slightly. But look, from that, I take it that Manchester City are going to go out there and try and win the game and try and do it in style like they have done all season.
Well, brilliant, but there's a bit of me going, he must have, though, in the back of his head, the Lyon game, or if I recall as well, the Monaco, when he won his first season here in the Champions League, where we have come undone by trying to go for the goals. But do you feel our game management has improved since that Monaco game, in particular over this season?
Yeah, I think simply bringing Diaz into the team has changed it from what we've had in previous years. I think his leadership and his sort of confidence that he spreads throughout the team defensively has changed the outlook for the whole team. He to me is the big difference. I know De Bruyne makes a difference in the games from moment to moment, but in terms of a mentality in your team, they've started to believe they don't concede goals anymore in the Premier League. There's very few individual errors, and that's what's cost us in previous seasons, has been the individual errors.
It's his desire, isn't it, to not concede. He looks like he loves defending.
Yeah.
And he takes it personal if they concede. And that makes a big difference.
Well, Pep as well spoke about that, because obviously, I mean, I think Kev allows all the players to flourish and do his thing, but one of Diaz's best qualities is that he makes everyone better and makes the team better by having quite a selfless game, which I guess for all the other 10 players and subs on the pitch, that's invaluable, and I guess you will have had with Richard and with other teams as well.
Yeah, and it's infectious, that mentality of not to concede. I think we've seen Ederson having a go at people for giving balls away late on in games because they don't want to concede, and I think Diaz has brought that mindset to the lads, and that breeds to the lads in front, so they might track back quicker because he'll be on them. Let's deny them spaces where they could be dangerous. So it's a knock-on effect, and it's had a massive effect on the team.
We just saw him there as well, and a quick word on it. Zinchenko is obviously starting over João Cancelo. A kind of an unsung hero, Zinchenko. Do you think he can't be underestimated just how well he has done and actually the quality of his talent over the last few seasons, Richard?
Yeah, and it's one of those positions that City have invested heavily in over the couple of years. They've been looking for a left back, and always it seems to be Zinchenko comes out. He's the one that plays in the big games, and sometimes you think, Zinchenko's playing, I thought someone else might have played, but he never lets City down. No. He always plays well. He follows the role, he follows the instructions, and like I say, he's never let City down, so why are we surprised when he's playing all the time?
True.
It's the way
maybe
it
gives us a little bit of balance that side, left-footed, and we've maybe because we have gone, or it looks like false 9 tonight, just to give that little bit of stability there. Don't really need that extra body, which Cancelo normally does from left back. If we got a number 9, then maybe he looks for Cancelo to go into midfield and create overloads, which he's obviously gone false 9, which is not needed tonight, maybe.
Interesting. One of my favourite Zinchenko stories as well is that actually the club accepted a bid from Wolves for him. I think it was not last season, the season before. And Zinchenko said, no, I want to stay and fight for my place. And the rest is history. So go on, Zinchenko. Now, this isn't, of course, the first time we've met Dortmund. I want to cast your mind back as we dig into the vault to back into 2012. Now, it was a 1-0 win for Dortmund, who progressed in the Champions League. And there was a certain Ilkay Gundogan who was playing at that time for Dortmund. And that kind of was where, actually, Gundogan really was announcing himself, I think, across all of Europe, wasn't he, Kev, when he was playing?
Yeah, that was pre-Mr. Whippy days, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He's been unbelievable, wasn't he? Obviously, Dortmund fans absolutely adore him. Rightly so. We're seeing the best of him now. He's developed so much and become an integral part of the squad.
This is, of course, from back in 2012. Because we also signed Gundogan, you can't forget as well, while he was injured, which I think says just how highly Pep rated him.
Yeah, that says a lot. I think the manager was adamant that when he was coming that he wanted him already in the building, and obviously he'd missed a lot of football through injury, but he's proven since he's got fit, he's played, even coming back from injuries at City, he's been outstanding, and this year he's added the goals to it, which has been brilliant.
I mean, we look at this. It seems now we seem like infants in the Champions League here, don't we, compared to where we're at now? Is there a lot to be said for actually gaining the years of experience in a competition before you can really kind of announce yourself in it?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, we had some really difficult and disappointing campaigns, but you need them moments to be where we are now. And obviously, it doesn't give you the God-given right to progress, obviously, but them moments and the experienced players get from their moments is invaluable.
It really is. So that was in 2012, and safe to say now we are reaping the rewards of Ilkay Gundogan. Of course, he is starting tonight. If you've just tuned in, welcome along to We're Not Really Here. We are just under 30 minutes until kickoff. 2-1, of course, is the score in aggregate. Big 90 minutes ahead, and then hopefully a semi-final clash with PSG awaits. Now, if we look to the other side of the competition at prospectively who we might be meeting in the final, it's looking like Porto or Real Madrid, Real Madrid or Chelsea. Is there a preference for you, Richard, on who you'd maybe prefer out the two?
I'd probably go Real Madrid. I think Pep knows them inside out. He knows exactly what they do. And Chelsea, for me, have been good since Thomas Tuchel has come in. They look solid, and they're going to be difficult, Chelsea. I think even in the semi-final at the weekend, I think they'll be a difficult match. So for me, my preference would be Real Madrid, and also it's more of a glory thing, isn't it, for the Champions League to have Real Madrid in the final, and what a better team to beat them than City.
So true.
I think we take anybody.
Yeah.
Take anybody because it means we get there. And I'm interested to see you writing off Liverpool.
Well, listen, I'll always write off Liverpool on this show. Thank you very much.
Love it.
But we look at that. Obviously, they've got a bit of a comeback on, which Liverpool have done it in the past. History does speak for itself. Can you see them maybe doing it against Madrid tonight?
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
But hopefully they don't. Sorry. Look, they've done it before, like you said, most famously against Barcelona. I think no crowd there. Does that benefit Real Madrid, like we spoke about? Maybe no crowd at Dortmund benefits Manchester City. I don't know, we'll see. But whoever, look, PSG, semis, we'll take that, of course. Anyone in the final.
Anyone in the final. Can you imagine, of course, the final over in Istanbul as well? We can dream. We can indeed. If you've just tuned in, let me recap you on the team news. This is how Manchester City are shaping up as we take on Dortmund. 8 o'clock kickoff, remember, for this second fixture. It looks like this. Ederson starts in goal. We then have a back four consisting of Kyle Walker, Oli Zinchenko, Ruben Diaz and John Stones. It looks like number 16, Rodri, is going to be holding, and in front of him, Ilkay Gundogan making a return to Dortmund with Kevin De Bruyne. And we're adopting that false nine. Our forward three are Bernardo Silva, Riyad Mahrez and Phil Foden. On the bench, Zach Stefan, James Trafford, Ake, Laporte, Jesus, Mendy, Cancelo, Garcia, Fernandinho, Torres and Sterling. Quick note on the subs, gentlemen. How important do we think they could be as we get into maybe the back end of this game, Richard?
Very important. The manager seems to use his subs in most games. He likes to get a lot of players on the field, and you've got a really good selection of. If we need to shore up, we've got defenders. If we need a goal, we've got attackers. And I think as a defender, if you're in the opposition and you see someone like Raheem Sterling coming on in the last 15 minutes, it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
There's that extra bit of pace, and certainly if Dortmund are pushing forward, looking for a goal, and they know there's that threat in behind, it's hard, and that's what City have built up over the years as a squad, and this is the strongest squad I think they've had in recent seasons.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. A quick word on that, I think, because we've all noticed it seems to be a bit of a curious case of Raheem Sterling of late, Kevin. Just seems to have not kind of hit the form that we know he's had in at the start of the season. He's just struggled a little bit these last months or so. Have you
I agree. Look, I love Raheem Sterling, not just as a footballer, as a man. He's been unbelievable for the game, and he's been unbelievable for Manchester City. Maybe gone off the boil slightly. He wasn't great. I was at the game on Saturday. He wasn't great by any means, and it means he misses out tonight. But looking at Raheem, I'm sure he'll take that on board and work hard and try and get back in the team. So, yeah, look, it'd be very disappointed, no doubt. But he's one that can certainly affect the game tonight.
I guess as well, if we were maybe looking to shore it up at some point, Richard, you can't not look far away from Fernandinho. And I don't think I've been watching, the shows I've done or not done as well. I don't think we speak about him enough, not only because of one, I think whenever he plays, he still looks like when he first signed for us, but he seems to be having massive ripple effects on the pitch and off the pitch with all the team and players as well.
He does such a big job. Yeah. Kev used to do it in our team.
Oh, yeah.
Just stop people playing. And it was brilliant. You know what I mean? It was like...
I stopped us playing, mate.
But it's so important. He done a foul on Saturday in the last couple of minutes that he took a guy down because the guy was gone clear through, and he doesn't seem to have any... This is what I need to do. I need to stop him, and I need to stop him however I can. And in games like this, that's what you need. It just disrupts the game, disrupts the rhythm of the opposition, and there's no one better than him. But we've seen Rodri come in, and Rodri's a different type of player where he's more of an interceptor, whereas he just intercepts people and just stops them.
He's like Peter Pan. He seems to be getting younger, always staying young. Yeah, I remember the foul. He did it a number of times on Saturday, and I watched him quite closely Saturday just to cast an eye over him. And yeah, he makes good fouls at good times. He breaks up play, and it's part of the game that's really important, especially when you're playing against a team that has got a really good front line and can be really dangerous. It just gives you that moment, commit a good foul, and then give you that moment to reshuffle and regroup and get set. So,
well, everyone alludes to these good fouls, and obviously I think when you're on the receiving end, it's quite annoying. But what is that through? Is it an expert at reading the game? Is it the timing? Like, what is it, and why is he like the best at it?
It's just experience, I think. I think he recognises danger early. Sometimes they won't be meant. It might be him just getting to the moment a little bit too late. But in general, there are moments where maybe Manchester City, where they have gone forward, are a little bit open and exposed, and he sees that early and makes his way to the ball and commits them fouls. And yeah, people say, oh, that's not good for the game. It's part of the game. It's been going on for years and years, more predominantly abroad, but it's worked its way to the Premier League, and he's one of the best there.
Really is, and we know how influential and crucial he has been, of course, for us adopting this Pep Guardiola style of play. Another couple of players, you might have just seen them highlighted there, and that we're just going to put a little player focus on. Of course, Kevin De Bruyne and Phil Foden. Let's start with our young Mancunian, the Stockport Iniesta. I mean, that second half, he just lit up the Etihad, didn't he, Richard?
Yeah, and when he does it, there's nothing better to watch. It's so good. It's like he's being born and bred through this club, and he has it in his heart. And when you see him walk out onto the pitch, and he's destroying some of the best teams in Europe. It's so good. You look, he had a little bit of a setback earlier on the season with England, and how he's reacted to it, and how he's come back and just proven to everybody that he deserves to play. He deserves to be in the England team, deserves to be in the City team, and he's just flourished over the last season. And there's so much criticism thrown at the club. Say, well, why isn't he playing? Why isn't he playing? He was like, give him a chance, give him a bit of time, let him progress. And City took care of him perfectly well, and look what's developed out of it.
I think as well, one of my favourite things from that game as well, along with everything you said there, Richard, is like when that half an hour spell, him and Kevin De Bruyne just seemed to be on that same wavelength. And now you expect Kev to be on that wavelength because he's arguably one of the best players in the world. Were you surprised to see just how much Phil felt on the same level as Kev, given his age?
He's been incredible. I obviously don't know Phil personally, but I feel like a proud uncle. Just
I think that's how we all feel.
I know all Blues do, and rightly so. He's a local lad. He seems really down to earth. I've seen him playing in the street with kids, kicking the ball up against the wall. It's unbelievable. I'm so proud of him. And no, it doesn't surprise me. I touched on it earlier. He's a young player, and he still plays like he's playing on the street. Yeah. He plays without fear. He's got unbelievable ability. And on the day, I agree with you, Kel. Phil and Kevin De Bruyne, they were the ones that played the game and didn't play the occasion, and they were above the rest.
Well, you both work, and coach young footballers, and we'd seen him. He'd started trickling into the City first team, I think around that 17, 18 age group. I mean, for obviously we know how good it is as fans, but going as someone who knows the game and working closely with young players, just different is he, and like how difficult is it to do what he's done?
Look, the pathway at Manchester City is there. He's proof it is, and there's obviously a young lad on the bench. The pathway is there, but it's still a very difficult one. Yeah. Because you're at the biggest club, in my opinion, in the world. You've got the best players in the world here, so to navigate through that is really difficult. And he's done it unbelievably with the help of Pep, admittedly. But I remember seeing him several years ago. I don't know, he would have been about 17 at the time in an FA Youth Cup final. And I was sat with someone that knew players at the club, and he said, oh, that's the lad Phil Foden that everyone raves about. And I looked at him, and he's not got much taller, but he was really skinny. I was thinking, God, really? That's the lad. And on that night, he was unbelievable. He was against, I think Manchester City ended up losing the game, but I think he scored on the night, and he was
against Chelsea.
He was very elusive, and he's developed, got even better. Obviously, he's training with the best players in the world. He's got stronger, not got over big, but he's obviously put a little bit of bulk on, and he knows how to use his body. And he's so elusive and dangerous, and it's just scary how good he could actually end up being.
And what is that then? Because that's, I think, for there are going to be so many young players watching, and obviously sometimes, I remember as well, not that I was ever at that level, but, myself or my brother, when you are maybe a bit smaller or skinnier, you do worry, well, if I come up against a lad that's big and strong, how do I counter it? What is it that how does he do it basically? Because everyone always says he glides around the pitch, but is it balance? Is it reading of what the players could? I'm trying to pinpoint. Yeah.
It's balance. He's working in the gym. Obviously, he's working on proprioception, about moving, how he lands, and different things like that. And he's got strength. He's grown. And a lot of, I suppose, smaller kids will think, I'm never going to grow. And that's why City have been patient with him, because the Premier League's a very physical league. You need a little bit of time to grow into it. And that's what he's found. And the more he plays, I suppose people try and get stuck into him even more because he's so good. And he's just been able to handle it. And I think he doesn't look small when he's out on the pitch. He looks like he's flying around, and it's
that awareness, isn't it? He knows. Look, if I'm playing against Phil Foden, I'm wanting to get physical. I'm wanting to kick him. But he has that awareness now. He knows when to lay the ball off. He knows when he can let it run across his body. His awareness is incredible, and that gives him and his touch. Honestly, I see a clip of him with Carl Walker actually on England duty. His touch, I've never seen anything like it. The ball looked part of his body. His touch was incredible.
Well, Jolene said this on Friday, actually, going that in the England camp, they actually had to take balls and say there's no balls allowed to leave the training ground, because apparently you would just never not see Phil without a ball at his feet. Like that, we'd have it in the hotel, he'd have it down the corridors.
He'd be able to keep up a pair of socks when he rolled it in the ball and do what he wants with it. It's unbelievable to see. And he's obviously got confidence in himself. For him to navigate his way through the academy into the first team squad to play with these players, he obviously believes in himself as well, which is vital for young players.
And you mentioned it there as well. I mean, let's just quickly touch upon England. I think because even in the friendlies, there was a point where it was like Walker, Sterling, Foden, and you're just watching patterns of City's play. You've also got Jude Bellingham here playing over for Dortmund. This is a very exciting crop of young England internationals that feel like that if they carry on the way they're going, then there could be some real kind of big achievements to be had, possibly.
Yeah, certainly. All under 21, most of them as well. Yeah. So, yeah, it bodes well for England, but they need to be managed in the right way, like the two you've just mentioned had been.
Yeah,
that's key as well, because you do see players with ability, young players that aren't managed in the correct way that Pep's managed Foden, and they fall by the wayside eventually. But yeah, so far the two clubs and managers have done an unbelievable job with these two young players.
Player, of course, that we'll be looking up to and hopefully trying to emulate is Kevin De Bruyne. And I mentioned at the start of the show, it was very welcome and happy news for all of Manchester City and the fans to know that he'd signed that contract extension, which, if that is fulfilled, that will put him at 10 years at Manchester City. Can that be underestimated in today's game, to keep a player of Kevin De Bruyne's stature? And actually, we've had a few now, so we've seen, Silva and Aguero come through. To have players for such a long time, 10 years at one club, it does feel like more and more of a rarity for me, Richard.
Yeah, and it goes to show how the club is treating players. They're looking after them and they're making sure that they're happy, and not just out in the field, but family life and different things like that. And he wants to win the Champions League, Kevin De Bruyne. He wants to win what he can with Belgium. But as a club footballer, he wants to win the Champions League. And the fact that he's chosen to stay here suggests to me he believes he can do it.
Yeah.
Whether it be this year or next year or the year after. And I think that spreads a huge sense of belief around the whole club for players maybe that we're looking at to come to City, because we've got players who want to win the Champions League, and that's where we're going to go. So I think when he spoke as well after signing his contract about he wants to help the team win it, but he wants to help the young players develop. He wants to help the academy, and to have people like that around the club's incredible.
And that kind of leadership seems to have kind of been a real theme in today's show. But that's a side to his game that seems to have really developed. And actually now you say, like with the contract extension, he's taken that upon himself, captain tonight, to go, I'm going to lead by example and lead the way.
I think he said that in the interview, that it was a side of his game that he felt that he could improve on. And he's taking it on. It's a massive statement. We spoke about it Saturday on the show. This is a massive statement, massive signing for the football club. It shows the intent of the owner, who's done an unbelievable job at this football club. People would question it. Is he in for the long haul? God, he's proved that. He's regenerated the Manchester area. What he's done for this football club is an unbelievable person, what he's done here. And he's not the only one that's got contracts going on till 25. The backbone of this football club is still quite young, the first team squad, and they're going to be here for a little while. So that's great news for Blues and everyone connected to the football club. So it's a massive statement, and it's lovely to hear him say he's really settled. That's really important for a footballer. His family's settled. his children are Manx, born in Manchester. And I said it on Saturday. Manchester is an unbelievable place to live. I loved every minute here, apart from the weather at times. Manchester people were friendly and make you feel at home. And he's at an unbelievable football club.
Nah,
he's living the dream.
Yeah, I've been listening to you is me living the dream. And that, do you know what I will say as well, like, as being a fan coming in to get to do the show, the way in which all players, either present or in past, talk about and feel about the club, I'm not just saying it because I don't think there's many other clubs where players have the same feeling and reaction around it. And I think it's very heartwarming, I think, for the fans to see it. I think
it's a special place. It's not, I don't think it's ever been a club where you come and you move on. You always remember it and you always want to come back to it. And it's not the club itself, it's the fans and it's the whole atmosphere
100%.
around the place. And that's why we all love coming back. We all had such a good time knowing each other, playing alongside each other and all that stuff. And to be able to come back and see the club in the situation that it's in now is incredible. And we're just tagging along really on the ride that these lads are on, so it's brilliant.
But no, the thing is, you would all say that, but it would not have happened without any of you guys.
Of course,
you know what I mean?
But Dunne is spot on. Clubs, foundations, yes, you need owners that are willing to invest. Yes, you need to get good players. But fundamentally, clubs are built on fans. It's their club. It's their football club. They're the ones that make the club special. And we, look, me even more so. I wasn't part of really successful times at Manchester City. I was part of the darkest times. But the fans stuck by us, and I just got a connection with them.
Yeah.
At times, look, they had the right to give a stick, and rightly so. And I can only speak for me personally. I always would have given anything for this football club, and I think they see that. And I don't know, there's just always a real affiliation with the supporters here. That's what makes this club special.
So funny as well. You say the darkest times. I think you speak to City fans. Still some of our best times, really. We still
I know, but that's the crazy thing, Kel. That is the crazy thing. They look back and go, "Oh, they were a good time." And we're winning all these trophies now, and they still look back fondly at them times. It's an unbelievable football club.
And you know, speaking of fans as well, very welcome news once again. The good news just keeps coming, doesn't it? We have, of course, got that all-important league final clash against Tottenham next weekend, taking place at Wembley, and it was very welcome news to know that fans are going to be returning. 2,000 fans for each club are going to be there. Richard, that's just massive, and just, you know, it's, as we said, it's what the game is about and who it's for is the fans. It's a nice step in the right direction,
It's
isn't it?
so good. It's so good just to see that there's light at the end of the tunnel about what's happened, and what better than a cup final to the fans back in and have the opportunity to go and see this team, which has been outstanding this season, and we've all missed being able to watch them on a regular basis. But even, you know, just going to the shops on Monday and just seeing people in the street and being happy and stuff like that, and now to see them back at football is going to be brilliant.
Is that in the shops or the pub you on about there?
Well, the shops in the morning.
And, you know, we'll probably talk about this when it comes around, but you know, when this all started and we were like, you know, how's it going to affect the players having no fans in the stadium? Do you think there'll be a bit of a readjustment to them fans being back in the stadium?
I think there will be.
Do you think? Yeah.
It's going to be bizarre. You're going from silence to euphoria. I'm hoping so. I'm hoping fans flurry back and have a real involvement. Sometimes when you're just used to going to really good stadiums, seeing unbelievable footballers, it just becomes the norm. I'm hoping they come back and really appreciate what they get to see, certainly at the Etihad, and be really vocal like they've always have been.
I've no doubt that they will, and if you are one of those 2,000 fans that are lucky enough to make it to Wembley next Sunday, well and you, make sure you're shouting for all of us. Now, would you like to win a Manchester City shirt? We will send it to you wherever you are in the world. If the answer is yes, very simple, we are looking for the best Champions League setup. So we've got about 10 minutes to go until kick-off. You have to let us know how you're watching the game, where you're watching the game, and send us a picture of your setup. And we're going to be choosing one winner, and they will get that Manchester City first team shirt sent to you. We've already had some good entries already. I mean, we had Jed on Twitter at JRow3. He said, I think I chose appropriate house colour. What do you think? His actual house is all sky blue, which is pretty hard to top, to be fair.
That is good.
We also had Lionel, who says, I'm ready for the game over in Ivory Coast. Pavel Lionel on Twitter. We have Jim on Twitter as well, who says, let's face some facts. Some students are better than us. Both Ian and I are hoping for a big City win today. They are watching it together over in Illinois. They have got their away shirt on. Also over in California, I mean, what man watching the game would you there, Richard? At TJM201 on Twitter says, not a bad place to watch the match day. I mean,
Is that where they are?
There we go. It's a lovely,
wow.
Basically, I mean, it's a pool with some form of outhouse in the middle. I mean, if you want to ever invite us three to come and do the show from there, we will. But listen, get them in. Just tag at Man City or use the hashtag WNRH, and we'll be choosing one lucky winner and sending you a Manchester City shirt. Guess the blue time before predictions here in the studio. Let's have a little gander at who we're trying to work out today. Okay. I mean, sometimes the kit gives you a little giveaway, but it's hard to work out, doesn't it?
They're trying to throw us here with the warm-up jumper on, aren't they? I'm struggling.
I'm hearing in the gallery that you've been quite good at mystery.
I've got nearly every one so far, and the kit helps, doesn't it? I can't.
No guess.
What era is that? Do you got any ideas, Dunny?
I have an idea, but I think I'm miles wrong.
Well,
but it looks like some of that.
Dunny's got an idea. We'll sit on it here in the studio. If you've seen that and gone, guys, what you on about? Well, you know what to do. Just use the hashtag WNRH. We'll be getting into some of the guesses at half-time and then revealing who's got it right at full-time. We've got, just under 8 minutes till kick-off. The nerves are really tingling now. Before we wrap up here, remember, come join us at half-time and come join us at full-time. We're getting into all the action. You've also got full match-day commentary over on the Manchester City app. But to my guests in the studio, Richard Dunne, Kevin Horlock, what are you thinking the score is going to be? Richard, over to you.
I think it's going to be a tight game. I'm going to go for a City win.
Yeah.
Do we need a score?
We're going to, we can.
I'm going to go 2-1. Another 2-1.
Okay, 2-1.
Yeah.
2-1, we like that.
I was going to go exact same 2-1.
2-1 as well.
I think we're going to be put through the ringer a little bit. I'm hoping Manchester City score first. There's probably going to be an equaliser. There's going to probably be nervous moments. We're going to all be biting nails, but then hopefully, come the end of the game, I've still got my tie on and still looking.
I think you're still looking suave, yeah. Do you
Yeah,
want to give us some goal scorers, Kev?
Yeah, we go goal scorers. Let's have a look. Well, I think Phil's going to come good again tonight, and I'm going to go John Stones.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. Okay, I mean, he's been finding the back in that as well this season, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he might turn up tonight and get us a goal tonight. So Phil and John Stones.
And a 2-1. 2-1 for both our guests
yeah.
in the studio. I like that. That makes me feel a lot better. Well, you can see our players are in the tunnel. That is live shots from Journey. Kevin De Bruyne leading out the team. And if you have just quickly caught the back end of this, that team, before I leave you, Ederson in net, Kyle Walker at right back, Diaz and Stones in the middle with Zinchenko over on the left, Rodri sitting with Gundogan and De Bruyne in front, and it's looking like Bernardo Silva, Mahrez and Phil Foden are our front three. So here we go. 2-1 on aggregate. 90 minutes football to go, and then one of us will be progressing to the semi-final. Love seeing Ruben Diaz and Ederson there just having a little chat, and come and join us at half-time and full-time. Thank you for joining us. Go get yourself a cup of tea, and we'll see you at half-time. Come on, City.
That might well be enough to take them to the semi-final.
We have to stay focused for the full 90.
The opportunity's still on, and it's put in by Kevin De Bruyne. And City inside 90 minutes hit the front.
We're fighting for everything that we can, and yeah, we're going to fight to the end.
Cross towards Gundogan, and City do have a second goal, and Phil Foden. City go back in front. City 2, Dortmund 1.